Hi, my name is Aham Ibeleme. I am a portrait photographer based in Lagos, Nigeria.
I'ma get it. 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 I'ma get it.
I am from Abia State, Isialangwa local government area, and I grew up in Benin. I'm married. I'm a twin from a family of four, and yeah, that's it. Okay, so how did it all start for you in your journey of becoming a photographer? Right. I did my MSc in the UK, and while I was there, I just realized that I found that I had this uncanny habit of collecting cameras. So because I was always trying to do this depth and field thing, and I started to buy cameras. I bought the first point and shoot camera because I was trying to do this thing where you take a picture of someone and then you blur the background. But I was finding out the point and shoot cameras I was buying or I was collecting were not doing that. So I found myself buying camera after camera after camera until I bought a DSLR camera, which is a proper professional photography camera. And that's how it all started. I started taking pictures. I would log my camera around London or where I was living, and then I would just go around and take pictures of everything, people in the streets, birds, buildings, whatever. And that was where, I found, whatever passion it is that I had for photography. And this was 8 years ago, I think, or 10, I'm not sure now. What attracted you to photography? I think the simple idea that you can take a picture of something or someone and almost transform them into something else is what I think attracted me to photography. That was what sparked my interest more. The fact that I could take a picture of someone, edit it in Photoshop and make it look 100 times more amazing than it actually is. That was one of the things that attracted me to photography. Was photography your major in uni? No, it wasn't. I read geology for my first degree, and when I went to the UK for my MSc, I read GIS. GIS is Geographical Information System. It has to do with space. And a whole lot of that. So photography was not my university major. Why did you decide to go into photography? Money, I guess. At the time when I started, yes. I was paid once. The first pay I actually got was for some reason really, really, really amazingly good. And and that was what sparked my interest. That was what got me hooked. And I sort of thought, I could actually make a living, a good living out of doing this, out of just taking pictures. What and who inspires you as a photography? Life inspires me a lot. Art inspires me. People inspire me. The photographers that I would say inspire me or the photographers that I would say are mentors, if you will. If I'm allowed to mention a few. Annie Leibowitz, Norman Jean Roy, Kelechi Amadiumi, my fellow colleagues, August Tudor, who else? To name a few. I'm sure there are plenty others, but these are just two. And then if you look at these guys I've mentioned, you will see a slight similarity in the kind of work that they do and in the kind of work that I do as well. So they are huge influences in my career or in my photography as well. How has your photography style impacted Nigeria? I have no clue. I have no idea. I'm not here to save Nigeria, so I'm just here to take pictures for myself and make enough money to feed my wife and my family. Is photography a lucrative business to venture into in Nigeria? It is, yes, depending on how you look at it. The thing with photography is there's enough business for everybody in Nigeria, or depending on what you do. If you're a wedding photographer, you're a portrait photographer like I am, or if you're a fashion photographer, or you're a food photographer, it is a very lucrative business as long as you know what you're doing. As long as you know what you're doing, you're networking with the right people, or you're networking the right way, and you're shaking hands with the right people, it is a very lucrative business. But you have to know your onions and know your stuff, because people want to hire you because they expect you to deliver quality. So if you're going to be mediocre with your work or your photography, then it might not be as lucrative. What does it entail to achieve greatness in photography? Discipline, a lot of hard work, a lot of determination, and a lot of will, I would say. When, where, and what has been your most challenging task or work so far? Let's say my challenging photo shoot so far, I would say, was when I photographed this one lady. She's not a celebrity, so she's not even really well known or anything. But this thing happened where she contacted me because she saw a picture that I shot of Genevieve Nnaji. And she called me up and she said, "Oh, I really like the photo shoot you did for Genevieve. I would like to do a photo shoot with you." And I said, "Okay, yeah, sure, fine." I charged her. She said it was cool. She paid, and then she showed up. Then my studio was in my house, so I was using my living room. And then whenever I wanted to shoot, I'll clear out stuff, settee and whatnot, and just to give that empty space that I can set up my studio stuff, my studio backgrounds, and shoot. So this is what happened. She came in, and I don't know what she was expecting. She came in and then looked around, and she didn't see anything. She didn't see photography lights, she didn't see camera, she didn't see nothing. And she suddenly became apprehensive. But then she called me, and then she said, "Is this your studio?" And I said, "Yes." And then she looked around and she said, "This doesn't look like a studio." And so at that point I was confused, and I said, "If you're coming to me and you know that you've seen my work, you've seen my Instagram page, you've seen my portfolio, and you've seen the work that I've done, why are you worried about where I'm shooting you, where I'm photographing you, rather than whether I can do the job or not?" But we went ahead and did the shoot, and in the end she liked the pictures, but she was really fussy about it, and I think that was the most challenging shoot I ever had, because then there was no chemistry anymore. It was just back, okay, next, back, and that was that. Was your profession embraced by your family, or did they disapprove? It was embraced by my family. Luckily, I have a mother who's, should I say educated? She is overeducated, but she's enlightened enough to know that, because we come up in a generation where our immediate parents, their generation, they wanted for their kids to be lawyers and doctors and engineers. And a lot of us are video guys, and we're photographers, and we're stylists, we're makeup artists like my wife is. But I was lucky enough to have a family that understood that this is what I love doing, and this is what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. So they didn't have any problems approving that. How was your transition process from educational level of photography to to your professional level? I'm not sure I understand this question. Okay, I would say it was fairly easy. It was fairly easy. The transition process for me was. I learned really quick. This is my 6th year doing this professionally, and I learned. I would say that I learned 90% of all I needed to learn about photography in by my 3rd year. So by my 3rd year, I learned, my lighting, I learned my editing or retouching, I learned, I mastered my photography techniques. So it was a smooth transition. It wasn't difficult at all. I was really determined to learn photography and improve my style and improve my technique, and every other thing. So I was constantly on the internet. I was constantly learning on my own. I was constantly on YouTube, which is where I learned a lot of what I know today. So that transition was fairly easy for me because I was determined to learn, or to be a better photographer really quickly. Okay. What were the challenges you came across while coming up in photography? Electricity, NEPA, was a challenge. Power, as it is for a lot of creatives in Nigeria, like we need steady power to do a lot of what we do. So the one challenge that we had, or that I had coming up, was that. But I overcame that because I'm a firm believer in the idea that there's always a solution to everything. So if there's no electricity, you go and buy fuel and put in your generator, and you have power to do whatever you want to do. What other challenge did I have? I think it was another major challenge I had was, finding proper studio space. Because in Lagos, a lot of the houses are usually residential purposes, and they are not built for things like for studio purposes, or for people like us who just want an empty space with high ceilings and wide walls or wide spaces. So that was a major challenge as well. That was why I actually had to, do photo shoots in my house, in my parlor, or in my living room before I found this space. So those were about the only challenges that I had. Tell us about an experience where you struggled getting the job done, but persevered and got through it. I would say it was one time where I had a shoot and I forgot my trigger. So I couldn't use my studio lights, and I had to shoot natural light. Who inspired you in your early days as an amateur? Kelechi Amadiobi, Annie Leibowitz, Norman Jean Roy, Dennis Rugre, August Tudor, my wife, just to name a few anyway. Were you ever in a position where you lost hope, discouraged, or almost gave up on your profession or dreams? Yes, I'm a human being, and I think it's okay to admit that. I think that if you live in Nigeria alone, there's a lot of factors that will definitely discourage you. In one, the power thing that I just talked about earlier. Two, you go out with your camera to the street to take photos, and then area boys approach you, and they harass you and they seize your camera or whatnot. So, yeah, those were some of the things that one time I was locked up. I went to the airport, the Lagos airport, to take pictures. I think it was my 2nd year, and I was in love with street photography. So I woke up one morning and I went to the Lagos airport mm2 to take pictures. So while I was there with my tripod and every other thing, setting up to take pictures, the security guys approached me and seized my camera, and they took me downstairs, and the next thing I knew, I was in a cage for like 6 hours. Yeah, my crime was taking pictures, and that was it. So there are so many things that are just enough to discourage you, or from doing what you're doing, especially when you live in a country like this, where a lot of forces are against you. How do you react under pressure? I talk to God. How should I react? How do you continuously develop your skills? Give a recent example. I'm always on the internet. There's a photography instructional page called F-Stoppers, and there are so many others on the internet. So I'm always on these websites. I'm always on these pages looking at inspirational. It could be journals or photographs from other photographers, international photographers, or just new methods of doing business, new ways of taking, new ways of lighting, new ways of retouching, whatever it is. So I'm always on the internet researching new ways to better my photography, new ways to take my photography from where it is now to the next step. So yes, that's how I'm continuously developing my skills. Also, talking to my photography colleagues, you could just be hanging out with them over a couple of drinks and then just talking about what's going on in the industry. What are your main strengths and weaknesses? Photography is my only strength. Weaknesses. Can't think of a third one right off the bat. I'm not sure I can think of any weaknesses. What's better, to provide something good and on time, or late and perfect? Let me switch it up a bit. I'm all for providing something good on time and perfectly. If that makes any sense. Otherwise, I would say late and perfect. Tell us a time you made a costly mistake. I can't think of anyone. Living in this country is a costly mistake. There are so many forces that are just. Tell us about the biggest decision you've had to make in the last year and why it is so big. What did you do? I bought a new camera. I bought the Canon 5D Mark IV. I think that was my biggest decision, my recent biggest decision anyway, because it makes my work better and makes it look expensive. Do you work better with a team or alone? I work better with a team. When did you consider yourself a success? I'm not successful yet until I have a house in Banana Island. That's when I'll be successful. How do you push through your worst times? I talk to my wife. What keeps you awake at night? Photography. What are your success habits? Constantly working on my photography. I'm constantly always improving on my work, always improving on my editing, always improving on my techniques, my lighting. I'm always those are my success habits, I would say. Yeah. What is your favorite TV show? Narcos. Yes. Well, at the moment, anyway. What do you read? I read a lot of Nigerian history. I'm just currently reading a book on the Biafran War. It was written by Obasanjo. What's the best career decision you've ever made? Being a photographer. What's the worst career decision you've ever made? I don't think I have any. I don't have any regrets being a photographer. How do you organize your time? I don't organize my time. I just work with. I just go with the flow. I wake up in the morning. If I have a shoot that's slated for whatever time, I try and show up on time, and then we just work through the day. So I don't have like an organized schedule for my time during the day. How do you make decisions? I just think. I make decisions. What do you think are your secrets behind getting to where you've gotten to? Hard work. A lot of hard work, a lot of self-determination. I can't stress this enough. I've always wanted to be better. I've always had that zeal to be better than what I was yesterday. To be a better person, to be a better photographer than the photographer I was yesterday. So that zeal alone, that drive, is what has always pushed me. Work hard. Learn the much that you can on your own before you try to reach out to other photographers. Do a lot of self-learning, a lot of what's the word? Finding, if you will. Do a lot of research. There's a lot of material on the internet. Then on your own, try and better yourself. Try and better your photography. Try and better your craft. Try and be a step ahead of the next guy. That's the only way you can be better. Always find a way to. I don't believe in passion. When people say, when people ask me if photography is my passion, no, it's not my passion. It's a job that I do, but it's a job that I love doing, and I love doing this job because I never get bored of it. It's exciting. There's always something new to do every day. Okay, so I have a photography book titled "How I Shot It." That's the cover of the book behind me. It's a photography book that details, a lot of my photography lighting techniques. So it's a lighting book in general. It's not an editing or retouching book. It's a lighting book. It teaches you how to light, how to position your lighting equipment to get better exposures or get better pictures, better imagery. You can find it on Amazon, or if you want to purchase the book, you can send me an email and I'll put you through on how to get it. My email is Aham Ibeleme @gmail.com. Hi everyone, my name is Aham Ibeleme. I'm a portrait photographer based in Lagos, Nigeria, and you're watching Solid Stateside TV, and this is how I did it.